Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. MyTeenLifeCoach.com. Yes, we are here with our good friend Liezel Lane. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I've missed you on the show. It's been, what, 3 weeks?
Yes, a little hiatus. I went on vacation, so I'm back with the boys. Had a good time. Feeling
That's awesome.
which I think is something all of us as parents need, right? Especially with teenagers.
Yeah. Everybody has to have that little end of June, July break, right?
Absolutely. So, Liezel, for the new listeners and viewers today, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Liezel Lane. I'm a professional teen resilience coach. I am blessed to have been the founder for myteenlifecoach.com. I am a faculty member for the Youth Coaching Institute, and I am a mother of 3 teenagers. So I think I'm pretty qualified to help these kiddos get ready for adulthood and just be successful at school and in their academics.
And you're based out of where specifically?
So we're based in Atlanta. And is that what you were asking, Jill?
Yes. I think we froze for a quick second. So it's
okay.
Atlanta, Georgia, but you work with people virtually everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Yeah, we're everywhere. And our website is myteenlifecoach.com. So it's really easy to find us on social media and on our website.
Fantastic. Well, Liezel, it's a pleasure having you here again. We've talked had some great conversations in regards to what you do. What would you like to share today with everyone?
Yeah, as you and I were talking about vacations and all that stuff, we're all beginning to think about that back to school time. So I thought maybe today would be a good time because I know different states across the US have different starting times for fall semester, and then it's like some are beginning of August, some are in September, but all parents and teenagers are starting to get that feeling of, oh yeah, it's coming up, and there's like a countdown ticking in the background. So what I thought I would do is, if parents or family members are listening today, grab a pen and paper, and I've got some really good step-by-step notes for everybody today on how parents can partner or coach with their teens for getting ready for the best school success this coming year.
Oh, it's coming up quicker than we know it. Now, you guys start school in August, right? The kids go back to school?
Yeah, we start beginning of August, and then I think the West Coast starts around September time. So East Coast generally starts sooner than the West Coast does.
Got it. Perfect. Well, let's get started. What do you need us to know? What should we be aware of?
Yeah. So, and this is not just for teenagers. I think this can absolutely start with parents with kids in 4th and 5th grade as well. So I want us to just think a little bit about, remembering and thinking about what teenagers are probably thinking about as they start to count down for school. So there's that feeling of dread, like I can't sleep in anymore. There's going to be more structure and accountability. I'm going to have to spend 7 to 8 hours in the classroom, and then there's homework and extracurriculars. And then kind of in their bodies, they're like, I have to find my way to get excited and motivated about this. And I was thinking, they're doing 40 hours of classroom time every week, like adults are doing 40 hours of work time every week. Yep. However, adults get to go home, have a glass of wine and chill and do whatever, whereas the kids have to add probably 2 to 3 hours of homework onto that, plus their extracurriculars. It is really, really demanding on these kiddos. And keeping in mind that parents, on the other hand, can't wait because it's like they need to go back to school. They're driving me crazy at home. And I was, really thinking about what are parents thinking about what they need to do to partner and to do it successfully, as far as getting ready and getting the mindset ready for kiddos. And I want us to remember back to being 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, and our hormones were raging. We were always feeling tired. We were worried about what our friends are going to think of us when we go back to school. Am I going to fit in? There's higher stress reactivity just because of their hormones and the mood swings that they're going through as teenagers. So the reason why I'm talking about that, Jill, is because you can't just sit down with your teenager and go, okay, this is how you're going to be successful at school this year. And these are my lines. And here's what we're going to do. That's not going to get the right reaction out of the teenagers when you are sitting down and starting to talk about, okay, what does this new school year look like? What are our expectations and so forth? Because all through this summer, they've gone through a whole nother metamorphosis. Their hormones have shifted up or shifted down. They're now thinking junior into senior year, or now I'm going into freshman year. Like there's so much they've like changed over just this summer period. And I just want us as parents to really kind of go back and remember what that feels like. Do you remember what it felt like at that point in time in your life? What were you like, Jill?
Both. It was good, and I mean, the fear of going back to school, the anxiety, the hate, but then the excitement of the going shopping, the back to school aspect. I liked it. I liked it more than I hated it. Most of my friends hated it, but I was like a little scholar, so
Okay.
But I could understand both sides. So yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely both sides.
What about you? What about you?
You know, I was in boarding school. So for me, it was dread, dread, dread. You know, I was very timid and I was kind of, always felt like I didn't really fit in because I never had an actual clique or friend group. I kind of floated in between kids. And so for me, it was all anxiety. And thank goodness, I think my only saving grace was we had to wear uniforms, so I didn't have to worry about the whole shopping thing. It was a matter of whose dress was shorter than the other one, or who got a used dress versus who got new dresses, right? But at least we were all wearing the same thing. But yeah, it is kind of fun to go do the shopping thing. And then it's like, oh, now I've got to get in bags. I've got to get in my backpack. And then it's like the school locker and does it open and all that like open house stuff and the overwhelm of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, here's where some good tips can come in for everybody right now. So I'll kind of just walk through it and then we can kind of talk about it and you can ask me some questions and let me know if I'm on track. So I think us as parents need to do two main things. One is before we have this conversation with our teenagers, start to do our inner work first. So step number one, look inside yourself. Now, with that, I want parents to really remember what it was like for them, just like we just did, what it was like for them as teenagers getting ready for every school year. And then add on to that the social media, the overstimulus, the access to so much information. And I would love parents to really tap into compassion and empathy for the new world that teenagers live in today. It's not as simple as it was for us. And really kind of step into their shoes as in terms of understanding and having empathy for them. That's the first thing. The second thing is consider your parenting style. Are you an authoritative type of parent? Are you a laissez-faire type of parent? And since your kid is now a year older from the last school year beginning, how does your parenting style need to shift? How do you need to level up or make some adjustments because they are now more mature than they were a year ago? So based on that particular thing, there are a couple of things that I think you can think about. The first one is, how do you need to show love and support now compared to last year? For example, teenagers move away from parents emotionally. Their identity is more developed by their peers and their friends. So showing love is not tackling your kid maybe on the couch and having cuddle time anymore. Maybe there's more of a boundary conversation that needs to take place. So how do I love and support my child differently this year? And what boundaries and expectations do you need to have that are different from last year? For example, a lot of kids, my clients, got their driver's licenses over the summer. So is
Mhm.
there a curfew in place now? Are there
Oh,
different routines?
yeah.
What are the house expectations, right? All of those things are really important for the parent to think about first. Like, really be mindful about that. Then there is, how do you need to adjust your level of support and empowerment? So, for example, um, do we allow them to have a part time job on weekends, depending on grades? What's acceptable? What
Yeah.
isn't? They weren't allowed to go out on Friday nights last year. Maybe they can go out this year, right? Maybe there are things like, now it's time for you to do your own laundry, and here is what
Yeah.
that looks like. Here is you cooking one night a week, etc., and really helping them understand that there is a connection and a web of responsibilities and citizenship that happens in the house. And then the last thing around this, the inner work for parents is, and this was my lesson this summer, was, where are you enabling your kids? Where are you not setting appropriate boundaries? And where have you created codependency? So this is what that looks like. Can't stand the bedroom, so I'm just going to go in and tidy it up for them. Can't stand that the laundry is laying on the laundry floor. I'll just put the load in the laundry. Can't stand that they put the dishes in the sink, even though I put a sticky note there that said, no dishes in the sink, put it straight in the dishwasher or wash it by hand. Okay, I'll just do it. I don't want to deal with the fight, so I'm just going to do it. But what we're doing is we're enabling. What we're doing is we're not teaching them
Oh,
boundaries.
you're so right. Yep.
So that's the inner work. What do you think of that?
Oh, I know I'm an enabler. Well, my kids are 5 and 7, but still, I'm
Yeah.
codependent by letting them sleep in my bed still, trying to break that habit, but they're still running in the middle of the night. So I give up and I lay with them. But I mean, the whole picking up laundry, you nailed it on the head. I tell them to do this, or my worst thing is that my boys go in their closet and pull a shirt off, and then they leave all these shirts hanging in the hangers. And I'm like, no, no, you pick one shirt, then you put the hanger to the right, and you make it neat. I'm trying to instill it, but again, I'm going in there and I'm fixing it. So they're not really doing it. um, they're younger, but still I have to teach them. But it's like I
Exactly.
want it done right, and then it doesn't get it. So yeah, I'm guilty of being an enabler myself. I think most parents are, right? Liezel, you there?
We all
You
are.
broke up. You broke up.
I'm here. Did I
Okay.
freeze?
You froze, but I hear you. I'm sorry, I don't hear you. She's officially frozen. Liezel Lane, myteenlifecoach.com. That's who we're talking to. Hopefully we'll get a better connection momentarily. 770-235-8202. And she's reconnecting. There she is. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Hi. Perfect.
Okay, that's the first time that's happened to us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the inner work, Jill. And so now let's talk about, once you've done that inner work and you kind of get a sense of where you stand as a parent, now we are ready to have possible conversation topics with our teenagers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are three main things here that we can quickly mention, and we can have a chat about it. So when you are having a conversation with your team about all of these things, there's three things that are important for parents to take note of. And the one is that the best practices for enhancing teen academic performance and best resilience for academics is that kids need time every day for self-reflection and downtime. So when you are getting ready for that conversation, make sure that that's on your list to talk about. What does that look like? It is, how tired are you after school every day? Do you need a short nap? Do we need quiet time? Do you need just time to just chill? And when I talk about that, I'm not talking about scrolling on Instagram. I'm not talking about playing video games. I'm talking about no stimuli at all. Because what's happening during this time is that diffuse learning is taking place. In other words, your brain is calibrating all the knowledge that you've been going through at school
Yeah.
that day. So, downtime, self care, non negotiable, right? The second thing is what are the actions and the activities and the thoughtful planning that we need to talk about as a family, right? So here, the two biggest uh, downfalls is the whole thing around procrastination and distraction. If you just talk about those two things, you've hit the nail on the head. So procrastination is the most common causes for procrastination. It's overwhelm, right? Fear of failure. They don't have motivation for it, or they don't have confidence for it. Distraction is they're either not interested in the topic, the subject might be too challenging for them, they're tired or exhausted, or they're managing like a physical or mental behavioral condition, right? Both of those things, if not addressed proactively, leads to increased stress, which means that the kid is going to go to the path of least resistance, which means there's only going to be superficial learning taking place. And then they're going to not make the connections. And what happens? Then they're not performing well at school, they're not sleeping well, etc. So here are 5 questions. First question.
Go for it.
What's your why? Why is it important for you to feel successful at school? Number 2, how can we break your day down into smaller, achievable things so that your anxiety and your overwhelm doesn't creep up? Number 3, what are your end goals? What are you ultimately going to school for? Where's your dream? How can we put your schoolwork in context? So, for example, I get a lot of kids like, I hate geometry. I'm not even going to use this when I leave school one day. But lo and behold, maybe the kid develops a talent for golf. And guess what? In golf, you need to understand geometry because you need to understand angles and loft and all of these things. So it's not just about the subjects you don't like, but understand that these subjects do have a place in broader life. So, what's the bigger picture? Question number 4. What's your big picture? And then the last question is, what is the environment that we can create that is most conducive for you? Do you need to only do your homework after dinner so that there's no TV noise happening? Do you need to stay away from your siblings? Do you like to work with these people around, but it's quiet, so maybe it's at the dining room table while we're cooking dinner? You know, moms are mostly working, so maybe they have to be doing it on their own, right? So, but what does that environment need to look like for them in order to feel like they can engage thoughtfully in that homework process? And then the other thing is, and I'm specifically talking to parents who have very high expectations of their kiddos, is not every subject needs an A. Let the subjects you're passionate about, let the subjects that are going to determine your career, let those be your A's. Be okay with the B's on the other ones, or only one extracurricular after school, not 3. Right? So those are the important things that I want to kind of give a structure to, so that as we're getting ready for school, there's kind of a bolstering for parents, like, yeah, I need to have this conversation, but do we really know how to make it effective, knowing the audience that we're talking to, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's my spiel for today.
That's a lot of spiel. That's a lot of good. And you're right. We need to get the big picture. How do you instill it though? And it's as a parent, as a child, our mentalities are a lot different. How do you get through to your clients, to the families you work with, to instill in their children, or to the teenagers themselves? I mean, is there certain techniques? Is there a reward, and like Pavlov, ring a bell, little reward habit behavior?
I totally get it.
We start doing something at home to try to, like kind of reward, right?
Yeah, I totally get that. So for your 5 and 7 years olds, definitely rewards, you know, earn points. I remember when the kids were young, I would have these things on the fridge with like magnets. And then if they did something right according to the expectations we created, they would earn points. And then they would get $1 for each thing at the end of the week. Then we would go let them go shopping or whatever. There's different so for that particular age group, rewards, the carrots and the thing is absolutely, you and I talked about devices and social media in terms of accountability and stuff last a few weeks ago. And then as they get older, it becomes more meaningful to relate their work to their future and to their friends. So, often you are surrounding yourself with kids or friends who are most like you, and you're comparing yourself to them. So, it's really talking about it in context with that and making it real. Like, yes, we were all unmotivated as teenagers, but how can you what does the mud look like, and what is at the end of that mud pool once you get through it, and just talking about what matters to them. It's that conversation. And then that should not be in line with like household chores and stuff. Let's talk about dream and academic, and then let's talk about, well, you also need to be a good citizen. So there's like two different conversations there, because you're not the policeman with them anymore, you're a coach. And so often, here's one particular thing that works really well for me and my clients is, if you had to give your best friend's mother advice on how to prepare them, what would you tell them? What would you tell your best friend's mother? Or how would you tell your best friend? What advice would you give your best friend? And often externalizing that thing and making it something outside of themselves helps them
when it's out. You're right. It's
right,
always
making
harder
it
with it.
Exactly. So create an objectivity around it. Talk about things like, what did you learn last year that you don't want to repeat this year? What did you dread last year that you don't want to have to deal with again this year? I have some clients who are like, for example, who have to study anatomy, hated it, but during the summer they just got this book, and like every day they're just doing small chunks. So there's this thing called chunking, taking this big elephant and breaking it down into small, and then saying to them, how would you like to be held accountable? Well, I don't want you to hold me accountable, Mom. We're like, okay, well, is there somebody else who can hold you accountable?
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So because we want to see you be successful. And so tone and staying curious in the conversation, and not making it this, from the top down approach, but really just being human with them. And I would also go one step further and acknowledge you have a lot on your plate, kid. Like, you're not only working a 40-hour week like me, you're also doing this and you're also doing that. And so how you are modeling your life, monkey see, monkey do, right? So I'd be happy to help you offline get some cool strategies for the little ones, though.
Thank you. Well, my biggest thing with them now is that, like, for example, we just were away. And my boyfriend has 4 kids. They're 23, 14, 12, and 12, and mine are 5 and 7. So last year we all went away together, and there was no like iPads, iPhones. We were in Greece, and there was no Wi-Fi. This year there's Wi-Fi, and both his sons have iPhones. So the whole vacation, everything we did, both sons were like this. So it made me more apt to give my sons the iPad, but that's not me. I like taking away. So there was times where my kids were crying because I wouldn't give it to them, but I'm like, as a parent, I'm trying to tell him, get them off the iPad. But he's like, that's what they're into. I'm like, but they're missing the boat. They're missing the view. They're missing. So I find I think a lot of us as parents these days and age, it comes to the video games, the screen time, the phones. It's just that right? My kids just went away for 3 days. My aunt took them upstate this morning, and I said, no iPads. They could drive 5 hours in the car without it. Let them have 3 days without it. And they're like, oh, we'll just take them. I'm like, no. I'm like, Like I need them for a 10 and a half hour flight. There's times where you need it. There's times if I'm working from home and I need it,
Yes.
but no, let them go experience nature, have fun for 3 days and live like a child, like how we used
Yes.
to. So I'm proud of that little feat. But when they come home, it's easier sometimes to do that. And as parents, I think we have to limit that screen time. That's one thing that bothers me greatly with the kids
You know,
today.
that's a really good point though, Jill. It's context, right? Yes, we don't have to take them away forever, but there's context. It's when is an appropriate time for us to do this? Like you're going to Greece, are you kidding me? That's like once in a lifetime experience and you want to be on an iPad all that time? No, right? It's like, yeah, but it's also like what I was saying earlier on, do your own work as a parent first.
Correct.
And not just like, you know, go with the wind and just fall into it. It's, parenting is a strategic job.
Sure is. Absolutely. It really is. And so someone wants to reach out to you, work with you. Would you mind sharing your best forms of contact?
Yes, ma'am. It's my phone number is 770-235-8202. The website is myteenlifecoach.com. And we are going to be starting academic resilience coaching pretty heavily in the fall. So if there are any parents who need to help their kids build their academic resilience for the year, they can text me, they can call me. We got them covered.
And what age do you start working with children? Just curious.
Well, we've actually started to work with 10-year-olds upwards because adolescence is starting earlier. And fifth grade is more like sixth grade now. So we're actually starting from 10 and we're going all the way up to like 25 years old.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here again. myteenlifecoach.com. Reach out to Liezel. Liezel, looking forward to meeting you in person soon. I hope we're making it happen.
Yes.
In the meantime, we'll talk next week, okay?
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.